Eric B's Daily Vlogs.
Keeping up with the themes of houses, I'm here in the Upper Haight district because of two infamous houses that just so happens are across the street from each other. Let's get this started.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Welcome everyone, it's my daily vlog channel, Eric B's Daily Vlogs, keeping up with the themes of rock and roll houses. Sun's about to go down, and I have this one particular house right behind me over there, where there's some deads, some Grateful Deads, made a lot of music, but the weird iconic thing is, that house, Jerry Garcia, was right across the street from that house, the infamous Hells Angels. Let's go check this out. Let's go. That's the famous house where, again, like I said, Jerry Garcia, back in 1965 through 1968, lived in this mid-60s style Victorian house where they came up with songs like Touch of Grey, Truckin', and Casey Jones. And again, not that far from Haight Street, which is right down there, where I'm pretty sure a lot of their music and their thoughts of music, Loud Bus coming next to me, came from. Pretty cool design. Let's go check out the artwork. Now again, they lived in this house from 1965 to 1968. It's a nice Victorian style house. You can see the way the awning, the artwork, and all that. The way the fence is fenced out. It's a cool type Victorian house. But the crazy thing about this house is not the fact that the dead lived here, but back in the 60s, that house right there, that's the first chapter house of the Hells Angels. That's right. The Hells Angels started their infamous bike club right there. How crazy is that? Now, before all that crazy stuff that you know about the Hells Angels today, the biker gang, they moved their chapter over to the Dog Patch. So when you hear things about police raids and houses that got police raids, it's not that house, right? That house right there. It's the house over in the Dog Patch. That's the house where they are now. This house is where they started. And actually, when they started back in the 60s, they were a cool bunch of biker dudes who just rode their bikes. And they actually did security for certain concerts when they were having concerts at Golden Gate Park. It was the Hells Angels that did security for them. That's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Hells Angels formed their group back in 1953, the San Francisco chapter, at least. And again, they're more infamous, known for their biker gang, their type of activity that they did. This is a Queen and Victorian style house. And then during the 60s to late 60s, this is where they lived. This is their chapter. And again, they did security for groups like the Rolling Stones, Jefferson Airplane, Santana, and of course the guys who lived right here, the Grateful Dead. And guess where they played? They played at Winterland over there in San Francisco, where I did the former Winterland. Was pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Right in the middle of me filming, somebody opened the garage right there, and they're not there anymore, which is good. And again, like I said in yesterday's vlog, do not go ringing people's doorbells asking, is Jerry Garcia still living in this house? Is this the house that Jerry Garcia, came up with their music, where the Grateful Dead came up with their songs? Is this the house where the infamous Hells Angels once lived? Don't do that. These guys don't live here anymore. But how cool is that? I'm looking at this house and noticing the little bush right next to it, and how the shape of it looks a little herbal. Don't you think? It looks a little herbal to me. Just a tad herbal. These right here just looks like regular ordinary bush, ordinary plants. But those right there, they look a little suspicious. Just a tad. I was going to walk over across the street, but the lady who was living there came out, and I didn't want to go across the street. I'm going to make my way now. She did leave. She did cross the street. I'm going to make my way now over there just to see what it was like back in the 60s when Hell's Angels occupied this house. Again, right there, a block over. That's Waller right there, that first street. The next street over, that's Haight Street. So a lot of the music that inspired the Grateful Dead and also the Hells Angels, who once occupied this residence. How cool is that? This is their first house before they moved over to the dog patch. 719 Ashbury. Pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Now, if you look at this house and the way it is and the way it looks right now, you cannot imagine what it was like back then when bikes was probably all lined up in this driveway, maybe even all the way in the driveway that way, and bikes parked all right here as they rode up and down Ashbury Street, making a lot of noise, waking up the neighbors here, the neighbors there, and the neighbors across the street. Well, they were grateful and they were dead, so they were most likely already awake. I think. Again, cool San Francisco history. The house that created, or the former band members of Grateful Dead, right here at 710 Ashbury, and right across the street, the house, the former chapter, or I guess the former chapter of the Hells Angels. Pretty cool San Francisco history. To me it is. Alright guys, famous house rock band week will continue. I did find a few that I do want to touch on. I did find a few areas that I want to talk about. Grateful Dead house being one over there, and the Hells Angels house right over there. Pretty cool week. Did a couple research, did a couple histories, and just how rich Grateful Dead. They were actually really good in this community up to the time that Jerry Garcia died. You can see some of them still walking around the neighborhood and being part of this community, which is pretty cool. And I thought was cool because, hey, there's a San Francisco icon right there that lived in that house. And again, when I talk about the Hells Angels, when you hear about the Hells Angels and the Hells Angels who did live across the street from over here, or where we are right now, they weren't the Hells Angels that we know now. They weren't that notorious biker gang that would go around and rob people and fight with other biker groups. These guys were a class act back in the days when they formed their chapter, actually working for, 4 bands here in San Francisco, creating some kind of security for the bands who worked out here. So when I say Hells Angels, don't get them confused with the Hells Angels within like the past 5-10 years ago. These guys were a group of guys that were pretty good. But you got the Grateful Dead house, and right across the street you have the Hells Angels house right here on Ashbury. Pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. Thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Got another house that I'm going to talk about maybe tomorrow. Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin. Quite a few people here, all within this neighborhood. Parking here is notorious. It's pretty hard, so we'll see. We'll see what I can come up with tomorrow. We'll see what I can come up with. One last look. You got the Hells Angels in the dark, and you got the house that Jerry Garcia once lived in. The Grateful Dead house. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Thumbs up. Like, comment, and subscribe. And vlog is ended. Go in peace. I smell an herb in the air. Is it coming from that house? Or is it coming from that house? It's very, very potent.
I made this.